Date with Keanu, a short audio story. Kirsty slid a carton of milk across her brother's kitchen worktop before attempting to undo her winter coat. Oh, it's horrid out there. There's bad winds, rains, the works. She pushed the messy hair away from her eyes and raised her head. Holy Mother of God! Where is my brother? I mean, you look like him. 45, give or take. Mainly give. A little bit fat and unshaven, but you look clean, and there isn't that lingering smell of a damp sock. Hang on a minute. You also appear to be smiling. Are you okay? Do I need to get some help? Brendon, Kirsty's brother, sat up from the dining room chair where he had been patiently waiting and pretended to strut across the room to his sister. I, my dear sister, have a date. He brushed past her and switched the kettle on. Oh, really? Does this one need inflating? His smile dropped a degree on one side, leaving the other to curl slightly. Funny, but no. Kirsty folded her arms the way she always did when she attempted to belittle her older brother. Oh, please don't tell me it's online dating again. Haven't you learnt from last time with that whole black and white theme and that ridiculous scarf? That was a misunderstanding. Misunderstanding? You uploaded a black and white profile picture that was taken at least 15 years ago, and half your face was hidden with a thick scarf. No wonder she suddenly disappeared when she met you. You said you liked that picture, so I used it. You also said I looked like Keanu Reeves in it. A sudden attack of giggles filled the air as Kirsty pretended to slap her thigh in jest. That's a good one. You did say that. Actually, if I remember right, you had spent an hour trying to convince me that you looked like Keanu Reeves. And eventually I got so fed up that I said, and I quote, that if you squinted really hard, you could see a slight resemblance. Yeah. Anyway, it's not online dating. They both felt quiet until Kirsty unwittingly broke the silence. Well, that's a good job. You could have been done for false advertising. That's it. Brendon raged as he grabbed the milk carton and thrust it into his sister's hand, grabbing her free arm to march her to the door. Kirsty quickly wriggled away and raised her arms, waving the carton around like a surrender of a white flag. I'm sorry, okay? I'm sorry. She walked towards the kettle and finished making the drinks that Brendon had started. I wanted some moral support, that's all. But it looks like you're out of it. Look, I'm sorry. You look nice. Good. You look good. Do you think this shirt is a bit tight? Brendon asked, nervously. Kirsty felt to stop the childish smirk from spreading across her face. Seriously, can you just be serious? Okay, it's okay. It's a little bit tight. Have you got another one? Great. That's all I need, he said as he stormed up the stairs. Kirsty knew she could probably be a little more tactful, but she had a problem with her verbal filter. Even her body language struggled to not react immaturely. She was just no good at hiding the childish emotions she possessed. Her mother said it was from her father. Her father said it was from her mother. In fairness, she knew it ran in the family. Brendon was just as bad when it suited him. It had been nearly 20 years since his last serious relationship. Brendon. His childhood sweetheart had decided she didn't love him anymore. But she did love a girl called Florence, who lived across from him. It broke his heart and left him in a deep hole of self-pity. Brendon came back down the stairs, heavy-footed, 10 minutes later, wearing a light blue shirt. Kirsty thought it suited him in a very basic and simple way. Eater, she said. She walked over and adjusted his collar. Thanks. I'm still not sure, though. Brendon had developed a pattern over the years, becoming very excitable and then quickly finding any excuse not to be, self-sabotaging to avoid disappointments in life. Stop it. I can see what's happening here. Stop trying to think of excuses. You look fine. Well, you don't help by telling me my shirt looks tight. Well, you started it by asking. No, you started it with your smirking and your sarcasm, as per usual. Unfortunately, his frustration caused him to accidentally knock all his coffee all over his shirt. They stared at each other and stared at the shirt for a couple of seconds before Kirsty dashed off upstairs. "I'll get you another," she shouts. "I know you're laughing," says Brendon in another rage. "What?" After composing herself, she started to go through her brother's wardrobe and found an array of colourful designer shirts. In confusion, she scooped a handful of them and ran down the stairs. "Actually, I am starting to think you are really ill. I mean, there must be over £1,000 worth of shirts here. I just don't understand it. You only ever wear boring ones. You normally like magnolia paint, like boring and predictable. So what is this all about?" Brendon, pouting unintentionally, slightly. "I wear basic for work. You know that. I bought these shirts for going out, but..." "But what? You are going out. Right now. And you've attempted to dress up as Captain Sensible. Twice. At least. I'm not good at this, you know that, and that's why I told you to come. But you were late, as usual. Right. Well, it's a good job I'm here now, then." She hurled a salmon shirt at his head. "Stick that on, then." He pulled an ungrateful face before trying it on. "See? Oh, that fits far better. Looks good and makes you look like a middle-aged man, not like an OAP. Doesn't make me look too young, though, does it?" "Nope, you still look 45, but it's shaved 20 years off from what you'd normally look like. Anyway, we've been faffing around for ages. You're not going to be late now, are you?" "No, I've got another 2 hours yet." "Jeez, give me strength." "Kirsty, don't tell Mum and Dad, will you? I mean, you know what they're like. They'll tell everyone and anyone, and then next minute we'll be engaged, and then it'll be on the 10 o'clock news." And Kirsty almost spat out her tea. She understood what he meant. Their parents were a little eccentric and excitable, to say the least. "Your secret is safe with me. So, who is she then, this mystery woman?" His face flushed slightly under his newly trimmed black beard. "Her name is Kirsty. She works in accounts. We talk most days in the canteen, just casual. And the guys at work have been trying to set us up for months." He took a sip of his coffee, being very careful to place it back on the table as far away from him as humanly possible. "Anyway, you know Nick? Well, he went on my email account and asked her out for dinner, on my behalf. Without my permission, may I add. But she just replied and she said she'd love to." Kirsty edged close with interest as she wrapped her hands around her hot mug. "Okay. So what did you reply to that?" "Good." "Good. Good. You gave her a one-word reply?" "Well, yeah. What was I supposed to say?" Kirsty shook her head in astonishment. "I honestly do not know how someone like you hasn't been snapped up yet." "I have no idea what you're talking about," he replied. "Just try and do more than one-liners tonight, and she may just stick it out." Brendon persuaded Kirsty to drop him off at the restaurant. As he shut the door, he poked his head back through the window. "Thanks. Now you can go. No lingering. I don't want you embarrassing me or putting me on edge." Kirsty pulled a face before pressing the window button, almost squashing her brother's windpipe as it quickly rose to the top. Brendon opened the heavy glass door at the entrance and walked into the restaurant. He could see Kirsty sitting at the table ahead. Her long chestnut hair was shining under the soft lightning. She turned to face him and smiled. His heart skipped a beat, and before he had a chance to react, he bottled it and ran to the toilets. He rushed to the sink and splashed water on his face before turning into his very own life coach. "You can do this, Brendon. Come on. It's only a date. Remember, you are Keanu Reeves." The door behind him suddenly unlocked, and he felt his heart sink. A man in his early 60s appeared. He washed his hands and smiled at Brendon in the mirror. "You know, Do have a look of Keanu Reeves. Don't worry about the date. She's probably more nervous than you. He dried his hands and tapped Brendon on the shoulder as he passed. Brendon smiled in return. Looking back at the mirror, he whispered, "You are Keanu." Kirsty was still sitting at the table, waiting. She smiled as Brendon leaned in to kiss her on the cheek, but the attempt was so clumsy he abandoned ship halfway through and awkwardly shook her hand instead. She laughed. Kirsty already knew that they'd been set up, and she knew he was shy and awkward. It was what she liked about him. "Thanks for coming," Brendon said. "Thanks for the invite," she replied, her eyes twinkling. "What made you pick this place?" "Oh, I'm messing with you," she laughed. "I know it was Nick." "Really? How?" "Because if I'm not mistaken, he's sitting on that booth over there with Dolores and Eve." Brendon turned his head sharply and sure enough spotted Eve's unmistakable big hair sticking out from behind the booth. "I did not invite them." "I know," she laughed. "It's okay." Brendon's olive skin turned noticeably pale. "Brendon, are you okay? What is it?" "I am going to kill her." "Who?" Kirsty turned to follow his gaze, only to see a blonde woman in her early 40s and a couple of pensioners gleefully waving in their direction. "Do you know them?" "It's my sister and my parents. They'll think this is hilarious." "I'm so sorry. I think we should go." "Okay, we probably should," she agreed, watching the disappointed and slightly furious expression on his face. "But first, let's give them something to talk about." Before Brendon had time to respond, she cupped his face in her hands and kissed him passionately. His initial reaction resembled someone experiencing rigor mortis, but he quickly relaxed and kissed her back. From across the room, the onlookers stood and cheered. Dolores clapped. Eve's hair wobbled with excitement. Kirsty shouted something unintelligible, likely about having nephews and nieces. The couple laughed as they grabbed their coats and made for the exit. They stopped at the door just so Brendon could perform a theatrical, award-winning bow before disappearing into the night. The date was a huge success, and Brendon and Kirsty lived happily ever after. However, their engagement was never announced on the 10 o'clock news.